Hey guys, we are back with some more Salt Lake City Lakers franchise mode, and in this one we are going to start year number 3, but first we will take a look at our AHL lines, as we did take a look at our NHL lines in the last one, but now that we have those two centers that we signed, Amadio and Lizotte, I thought I'd show you guys the updated lines for the AHL. Vasunov, Sundstrom, Gunler, Downey, they're all getting top 6 minutes, and as well as Anisimov. Anisimov is actually getting double shifted on the power play. So just letting you guys know that they are indeed getting a lot of ice time down here and should end up growing pretty well, presuming that guys like Amadio and Lizotte can help out a lot, as well as Anisimov getting a lot of time. That should end up helping out quite a bit as well. Also, Byfield is still on the team, as we do want to give him the 9-game look. If after 9 games we're not particularly impressed, we will send him back down to juniors. No problem with doing that, because again, I'm not going to sacrifice his development just so that we can potentially win some games. Even if we're winning games, I'm not going to sacrifice his development. It's just not worth it in the long term. So we are going to go ahead to our home opener, and we are going to see our first commentary third period of this GM mode. One interesting thing that I will point out, though, as I was getting ready to record this episode, I was looking through the draft class, and I was looking all the way down until I think around the 3rd round, and there was an interesting pair of names that I saw. There are a set of brothers going back-to-back in the draft. Jeremy Langlois and Jacques Langlois. 70 and 71, both defensemen, both in the QMJHL. If they both have some pretty good potential, then I think we should consider picking up the brothers in Jeremy and Jacques Langlois. Now, obviously, I don't know if they're actually brothers, but it appears that Jeremy Langlois is actually a real player, given that he already has 3 seasons of simulation under his belt, and there's only been 3 seasons so far. But Jacques Langlois appears to be a computer-generated player. So, I just find it really interesting that there's potentially a real player in Jeremy Langlois, and then a generated player, more than likely, in Jacques Langlois, both going pretty much back-to-back in the draft. So I think if there's any way that we could get both of them, obviously presuming they're both good potentials, we should definitely consider that, because that would be pretty awesome to have brothers on defense there. So we will go up to our first home game of the season against the Nashville Predators. But first, we have a game against St. Louis, and they are already 0-2 on their season, and we beat them 8-2. How do you like that? You know, let's see if we go 2-0 to start the season. That'd be pretty interesting. So as we go in to face the Nashville Predators, first period, that'll be a 2-0 lead for us. Kapanen and Bennett on Smith. Second period, oh boy, 4-0 lead for Salt Lake City. Benning and Fleury with the goals on Smith. It looks like a pretty entertaining one. I don't really have much doubt that we'll win this one, but let's see the third period anyway. Here we go. First commentary third period of the GM mode. This should be interesting. Heedle out there on the faceoff, and he loses it. Tolvanen on the wing for Nashville. Gets it over and was intercepted, but taken back by Ellis. Nuge up to Tolvanen. Tolvanen looking for space, looking at his options, finds Ellis. Nuge down low. Back to Nuge. And the one-timer shot attempted but whiffed, as Kapanen will take it back for Salt Lake City. Heedle to Manson, and oh man, a little bit of commotion going on there in the defensive zone for Salt Lake City, but it was taken into the Nashville zone by, I believe that was Palat, as Duchesne with the shot. Simmons will take it through the neutral zone, and he powers through, dumps into the Nashville zone. Fabro has it behind the net, and he'll get it to his teammate as Johansson for Arvidsson to Duchesne, who breaks through. Duchesne with the shot that goes wide. Kasha for Benning to Mata, and Faxa will move it through the neutral zone and carries in. Finds number 6, and Benning with the shot that goes wide. Merrill for Nashville. Tries to drop it back, but Kasha is there, and Smith with the good save. Eli Tolvanen already with 5 points on the season. He looks to be hot. And Bjorkstrand, Byfield, and forced back a Carlson out there against Sissons, Turris, and Dubinsky. Face off one by Byfield, back to Mata, but Dubinsky is there to intercept. 2-on-1. Dubinsky with the shot, and the rebound was there, but good save by the goaltender in net. I'm not actually sure who's in net for us. Dubinsky gets it up to Turris. For Dubinsky again, and Dubinsky with a shot, and he rips one home. And it is all of a sudden no longer a shutout. So that's unfortunate. Dubinsky with his first goal of the season. And what a beauty it was. It was Korpisalo in net. And just ripped top shelf. No chance at all. He had the corner picked. Bjorkstrand, Byfield, and Forsbacka Karlsson out there once again against Sissons, Turris, and Dubinsky. Face off won by Byfield. Mason has it, but lost to Turris. Turris from Dubinsky trying to find his second goal of the game. Turris with the shot from the point, and that one trickles in. Oh my goodness. We all of a sudden have a game here. As, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that actually deflected off of somebody. Sissons with his first of the season. The shot from the point from Turris, and yeah, that looks like it deflected off the stick of Sissons. I thought it might have went off of England, but it appears that we have a game here. Fourth line out there, Bennett, Zajac, and Burakovsky out there against Kara, Backus, and Watson. Face off won by Kara. Watson gets it deep. Englund meets it. Englund tries to get it out, but cannot. Backus intercepts. Backus back for DeHaan. DeHaan gets it down below the net, but Mason retrieves it. Mason for Bennett. Bennett in the zone. He dumps in as well. Try to be met by a Nashville Predator, but instead the forecheck by Seattle. Or Salt Lake City, I should say. Still in Seattle mode, I guess. Bennett goes back into his own zone. And now that I think about it, Seattle was actually 2 games ago. It was in NHL 18. I don't know why I said Seattle. Zajac with the shot on net, but Backus retrieves it. Santini for Nashville. He moves it up to DeHaan. DeHaan with 3 minutes remaining in the third. Can they make it a 1-goal game? Nuge with the shot, and Korpisalo with the save. I guess that's another reason I thought I thought we were Seattle, because we had Korpisalo in Seattle. Kapanen, Hedl, and Palat out there against Forsberg, Nuge, and Tolvanen. Face off won by Nashville. Tolvanen for Ellis. Down low for Nuge, for Tolvanen, and Forsberg tried taking the shot in the slot, but it was not there. And intercepted by Salt Lake City, and the shot by Palat, and the save. First line still out there for Salt Lake City. And second line now out there for Nashville. Johansson, Duchesne, and Arvidsson. Johansson back around his own net. Finds Duchesne. Duchesne into the Salt Lake City zone. Finds Ellis on the point, and a good save by Korpisalo. Actually, I don't know if that was a save or whether it was blocked or not, but that was a good save by Korpisalo. Kasha, Faxa, and Simmons out there against Nashville's second line. Fabro with the shot from the point, and Korpisalo flashes the glove. Faxa on the draw against Duchesne. Duchesne wins it back. Merrill down low. Johansson from Merrill once again on the point. Kasha board playing that as Mata tries to get it back, but cannot. Johansson with the shot on the one-timer. Josi with it below the net. Finds Johansson. Arvidsson takes that for Nashville. Duchesne with the shot, and Korpisalo says no once again. Faxa against Nuge on the face-off. And Faxa will win the push. Englund takes it up through the neutral zone for Salt Lake City and gets it wide of the empty net. Merrill with 6 seconds remaining. Dubinsky with the shot. Korpisalo flashes the glove once again with 2.5 seconds remaining, and this game appears to be all but over. Hedl out there for potentially one final draw against Turris. And Hedl will win the push. And that'll be all she wrote for this game. So we will go the rest of the month. That should take Byfield to 9 games, and we will evaluate where he is after the game against Toronto, because this is, let's see, 1, 2, 6, 8, 9 games is right after Toronto, so after the game against Toronto, so basically on November 1st, we will decide what to do with Byfield. So after 9 games, we are 4-4-1, not a bad start compared to what could have been assumed out of this team, but you know what? Andre Burakovsky apparently leading our team in points on the fourth line. So I'd have to imagine that quite a few of his points would be from the power play, would they not? Yeah, 6 power play points. That makes sense. So at least, you know what, Burakovsky, he's getting fourth line ice time, but he's also getting power play time, which is allowing him to get points. Palat with 9 points, so he's also point per game. Faxa with 7, Bjorkstrand with 6, Bennett, Simmons, and Kapanen also with 6, Hedel with 5, Kasha with 4, Manson with 4, Zajac with 4, Fleury with 2, Benning with 2, Mata with 2, fourth back Carlson with 1, Anglid with 1, not looking good for Byfield. Yeah, Byfield only with 1 point so far, -6. That's unfortunate. 10 shots, so he's not really getting too many offensive opportunities per game. It doesn't look like. He's getting 12:46 of ice time, so that should be more than enough to at least get his feet wet. What about faceoffs? 46.9. He's got a good amount of hits. He's got 8 hits so far. 0 blocks. Takeaway giveaway ratio is not favorable. So I think just based off this, it's looking like Byfield could use some more seasoning in Sudbury. I just feel like it would be best for him to just get one more year down there in juniors, and then he should be good to go for next year. But for right now, even though we're a decent team, he has the fewest amount of points out of any forward on our team. So I think it would be the right idea to send him back to Sudbury. Korpisalo has a .924 save percentage in 7 games. He's doing very well so far. I see no reason to really change much, once again, other than sending back Byfield to juniors. We'll also check out the team stats, though, real quick. See where we sit for goals for and goals against per game. So goals for, we're actually sitting in second in our division with a 3.11. Dallas is a 4.1, and then every other team is below us somehow. So I guess we're pretty good to start out here. Goals against per game, we are actually, we're not good, that's for sure, but it could be a lot worse apparently, because there's other teams behind us like Minnesota, St. Louis, and Nashville. So all things considered, we're having a decent start to the season. The power play is at a 30.8%. Interesting. And the penalty kill is actually very good as well, 84.6. So obviously not the ideal start to the season, but definitely could be a lot worse. And for, you know what, the state this team is in right now, that's actually pretty impressive. All we're looking for out of this team right now is improvement. I don't care if we make the playoffs or not. If we do, that's great. But it's not necessary, right? We're just looking to develop our young players this year. And part of that development, I believe, for Byfield would be sending him back to Sudbury for another year. And that is indeed what we are going to do. So hopefully he has a successful year down there in Sudbury. And now what we will do, we'll replace Byfield with Lawton, and then we'll move Zajac up to line 3. And Lawton, if I'm not mistaken, can actually take faceoffs. Yeah, he's got the 81 for faceoffs, so we will get him in there at center, and then move Zajac up to line 3. And then, of course, we're going to have to replace Byfield on the power play, so we'll get Zajac on the power play as well. Actually, you know what? We may as well move Faxa into the middle, and then we'll get Forsback and Carlson on the wing. And also for right now, I think we are going to let Jonas Korpisalo be the starter, because so far in 3 games, Saros has an .863 save percentage, and obviously we saw before Korpisalo with a .924 in 7 games, so we definitely want to leave him in there as much as we can. I don't know how much the game's going to automated rotate them, which I'm guessing is going to be quite often since they have similar overall. However, Korpisalo has already played several more games than Saros, so I'm guessing it's going based off save percentage here. So we'll just leave Korpisalo in the starter's position for right now. Abdelkader and Braun are, of course, scratched. So as of right now, I believe there is no other reasons to stop. So we will simulate ahead another month and see how we simulate without Byfield. And unfortunately, we are also going to have to see how we simulate without Burakovsky for a little bit. He is injured with a mild concussion until November 14th. That's unfortunate. He did lead our team in points at the end of October, and he appeared to be a key part of the power play. So that's maybe a bigger loss than we actually think, unfortunately. So we're going to have to get Abdelkader in there. The Nashville Predators have fired head coach Nicholas McKinnon. And Burakovsky is now back in the lineup, so we'll take out Abdelkader and just get him back in the places that he was in. Just going to make sure that he's on the power play. Yes, he is. And unfortunately, right after Burakovsky gets back in the lineup, Palat is now injured with a concussion till November 27th. and we haven't even played a single game since then, so we're going to, I guess, move Burakovsky right from the fourth line to the first line, and we will get Abdelkader back in there. So we are on December 1st, and we are clearly still a long ways away from being a good team. We are currently 5-15-3, meaning we went 1-11-2 in that month. Yeah, it's looking like another one of those years, unfortunately. I thought with the upgrades that we made during the offseason, we may potentially have a chance, but no. This team is already falling apart for the most part. I mean, obviously, we have guys like Kapanen still around, who hopefully will be around for quite some time with us, but unfortunately, it has not been... After October, it has been nothing but failure, unfortunately, and that's not even with, sitting anybody or intentionally tanking. This is not even intentionally tanking. This is just the way our team's performing right now. So, unfortunately, Korpisalo got below a 900. Saros is still below a 900. He's at 870, and I think just everyone's kind of slowed down. So I moved Fleury with Benning to get that +3, so he's an 88 overall with Benning, and Manson's there with Mata. And I also moved Kapanen down to the second line with Simmons and Faxa, so that he's also an 88 overall on that line, and that Faxa is an 86, Simmons an 85, etc. But other than that, I'm not, at this point, optimistic for this season. So I think we might as well, presuming we continue on this track, we might as well just finish the season simulation in this video. But one thing I am optimistic about is our AHL squad, because you're seeing some pretty good growth already. You're seeing Vasyunov with 8 goals, 4 assists. You have Downey with 3 goals, 8 assists. You have Sundstrom with 5 goals and 6 assists. And you have Gunler with 5 goals and 5 assists. So obviously, that's not super impressive. But what's really impressive for me is Anisimov. In 24 games, he already has 20 points. Now, that could be from being on the power play a lot. But 12 of his points are from even strength, it appears, as he has 8 points on the power play. And obviously, he's a -9, so I would guess that the team itself is not great. But he looks to be improving at a rapid pace. Just based off the fact that this is his first professional season in the AHL, he already has 20 points in 24 games as a defenseman. He is looking to be fantastic so far. Let's check on Montembeault. So Montembeault's been doing fine. He has a .922 save percentage, but only 7 wins in 16 games. So yeah, I would imagine the team itself is not performing up to expectations, but still some pretty good growth out of our young guys in the AHL. Now, I guess at this point, we'll check on the progress reports just to check on our other young guys who are not currently within the organization at the AHL or NHL level. So if we take a look at progress reports, we see Kapanen with 22 modifications. He has a lot of statistical growth. No natural growth, of course, but a lot of statistical growth, and that'll definitely help out. Now, what about, so Hedel, he has some statistical growth, so a lot of statistical growth going on here. But what about natural growth? None, it looks like, in the NHL. What about in the system? So Rohan Bowman, one of our goaltender prospects, +14 to natural growth on the season so far. Peyton Dundas, he is now a 78 overall. He has 15 points on the season. Not too shabby. Hopefully he continues seeing that kind of growth. Ray Downey, +12. He's getting a lot of natural growth as well. Nicholas is up to a 70. So hopefully we continue seeing growth out of our young guys this season, because we're definitely going to need it, as we are obviously not a good team. At this point, all I really care about are the guys who we know are going to be on this team long term. So Kapanen leading the scoring on our team with 16 points in 23 games. Kasha with 14. Hedel with 13. So that's good. Our young guys are scoring. I mean, obviously they're not tearing it up. They're getting enough points to grow, though, so I could care less at this point how everyone else is doing. Hayden Fleury has 7 points, unfortunately, -11. So not having as good of a season as he did last year. I believe he had somewhere around 30 points last year. They had 36. This year he looks to be on pace for 20 at most. I guess we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But from a team perspective, it doesn't look like we're going too far this season, unfortunately. Travis Zajac has been injured with injured ribs till December 18th. Unfortunate for him. So on January 1st now, we are 12-20-5, meaning we went 7-5-2 in December. A much better month for sure. Obviously, we are nowhere near where we would need to be in order to make the playoffs. But still, it's nice to see some improvement out of this team. We're much better than the Predators, it looks like. They're 9-25-3, so you know what? I'll take it. We're seeing some improvement. Again, still not anywhere close to the playoffs, but you know what? The team's not giving up, as seen by their performances in November and then followed up by their performances in December. It's pretty clear that they're at least not going to go down this season, to be dead last. They're not going to just roll over and decide to give up on the season. So Hedl with 24 points. Faxa leads our team with 25, so it looks like Kapanen slowed down quite a bit. He's at 23 points. Palat with 23. Kasha with 23. Who else? Fleury with 14. And goaltenders, you have Korpisalo, who's back up to a 900. And an 896 for Saros. So Saros did quite well in that month, as did Korpisalo. Obviously, once again, they could be doing better throughout the entire year, but I guess that's just our team right now. Let's check on the AHL real quick. So Lizotte with 30 points and Nisimov with 26. He's up to a 67 overall. Well, he started as a 67 overall, but hopefully he sees some pretty good growth over the course of the rest of the regular season. He's going to be staying in the AHL for the rest of this season. No reason to call him up as of right now. Vasunov, 13 goals, 8 assists. Sundstrom, 12 goals, 7 assists. Downey with 17 points. Gunler with 15. And unfortunately, Ray Downey has been injured with the pulled groin until January 10th. That's about a week or two away. So we followed up a decent month of December by having an absolutely terrible month of January. We went 8-2 in that stretch. It's pretty clear as to what this team is at this point. So I think there's not even too much point in checking the player stats month by month at this point. We may as well just sim to the end of the season. I mean, we'll check out all of our young guys in the progress reports, but other than that, there's really no point in looking at everybody else here. We have Dundas in the minors, who is an 80 overall now. He should be ready for next year, seeing a bunch of natural growth. Byfield, unfortunately, has not seen much growth over the course of this season so far, but he did spend the first 9 games of the season with us, as opposed to Sudbury, which he's now, it looks like, turning it on with 30 points in 25 games. Hopefully he can continue that pace, and hopefully by the end of the year, he'll be around an 80 overall and be ready to officially make the jump to the NHL next year. Carson Lambos, he's at a 67 overall. He's seeing some nice natural growth there. Yuri Anisimov, he's having a pretty good year. 29 points in 50 games played. That's a little less points per game than what he was on track for before. But as long as he's on a pretty good growth path, I'm all right with that. And he hasn't had any growth so far this year, but we will definitely see some growth from him over the offseason. It's just a matter of how much will he grow. You also have Rohan Bowman, who is a goaltender, 53 overall. He's going to take a while to get here, but he's seen some pretty good natural growth. Ray Downey, he's a 67 overall now with 22 points in 47 games played in the AHL. Seen some good natural growth. Sundstrom also in the AHL with 19 points. Joshua Waugh, he scored 19 goals and 28 assists in 39 games played with St. John. And seeing a lot of natural growth there. So hopefully we'll see him in the NHL as well in the next couple of years here. Vasunov, Gunler, Gunther, they're also growing. Auberg, Nicholas, a lot of our prospects are growing at a pretty healthy rate. So there is one trade I have in mind, potential trade anyway. I'm not sure if we're actually going to do it. But the Calgary Flames do want to give up their first round pick, and they're a bubble team right now, so I figured maybe if we could snag this first round pick for them, they might end up being a lottery team later on. So if we could get this right now for a decent price, then I would definitely do this. But if this doesn't happen, then there will be no other trades being made. No trades found. Let's see, no trades found. Okay, so we're going to have to come up with a trade ourselves for that first. There's really nothing that I want to give up right now that's of value. So we're just going to say no to this trade, and we'll just move on with the rest of the season, because it's just, in my opinion, there's nothing really worth trading right now besides maybe Burakovsky or Bjorkstrand, and I don't think either of those two combined make up for a first round pick, at least a potential lottery first round pick. So we're just going to go up until the trade deadline. If there's nothing that we want to do at the trade deadline, which more than likely there won't be, we'll go on with the rest of the regular season. We do have a trade alert, however, to Chicago, Matt Dumba and Thomas Greiss, and to Minnesota, Jonathan Taves and a second. Interesting trade there. And Ray Downey, unfortunately, has been injured with injured ribs until February 16th. That is about 2 weeks away. We're unfortunately going to have to replace player. Another trade to Anaheim will be a first, Piorala, and a second, and to Winnipeg, Hampus Lindholm. Another trade to Anaheim, Hale, a third, and Foligno, and to St. Louis, DeKaiser and Goligoski. Another trade to Boston will be Benino and a third, and to Edmonton will be Bjork and 2/3. Got a lot of trades going on here. To Carolina, Sword and Frank, and to Montreal, Jalmerson and a third. I'd imagine they're just dumping off Jalmerson's salary. So at the end of February, we are currently 17, 35, and 10. We're not even trying to tank, and the team is very, very bad, clearly. I even made some line changes that may possibly help us to win some more games. Burakovsky led our team in points at the end of the previous month, so I figured we'd put him on the first line with Hedel and Kasha, but clearly everything that we have tried up to this point has not worked. Saros with an .893 save percentage and Korpisalo with an .897, so neither of them are really getting it done, and it looks like they've been splitting some games as well, as Korpisalo has 37 games played and Saros has 35. Neither of them have been doing any good whatsoever. So, yeah, this is looking like another tank year. I was envisioning that it would be a little bit better, especially with that +3 on the second line with Kapanen, Faxa, and Simmons. But clearly, it's just still, the talent is pretty clearly lacking. So I don't think there's really any need to review the monthly stats here. We may as well just simulate ahead to the end of the regular season unless we want to make a trade. I'll offer out Bjorkstrand because I'm not really a fan of how he's been producing so far as an offensive player. Only 24 points this year, and the past couple of years as well, he hasn't even been that great. I mean, last year he had 46 points, but this year he's on track for the same kind of season he had in our year number 1. So I think it'd be in our best interest to see what we could get from maybe a second, I would imagine. I can't see us getting a first for him, but you never know. So we'll just offer him out to all the teams and see what we can find. So Anaheim wants to trade us Gusev and a fourth. Arizona wants to trade us a second in McQuaid, a second, a fourth in Toffoli, 2/3 and Guy. Khrushchev, a fourth and a fifth, second and a fourth. Muzzin and a fourth, second and a third, and Rybinski. Sadakov and a fourth, Scandella and a fourth, Bouwmeester and a fourth, a third and Hudon, and Getzlaff and a fourth. I think out of all these offers, I like Florida the best because it's a second and a third, plus Rybinski, who looks to be a depth player, maybe for the AHL, and there's no other team who is willing to give up a second and a third. There were a couple of seconds, there was a couple of second and fourths, but there was no other team, other than Florida, of course, that wanted to give up a second and a third. So we'll edit this trade. I'm going to see if we get a bit more back for him. And actually, the second and the third are for next year. Let's see if we can get their... there's no way. Yeah. I don't think we're getting Florida's first for Bjorkstrand straight up. Yeah, honestly, this looks good to me. Bjorkstrand for a second, a third, and Rybinski. There you go. So that's really the only trade that I want to make. So we will just go ahead to the end of the season now, and we'll see what kind of growth our guys get, because it's clear at this point that there's no playoffs in sight. Ooh, Yuri Anisimov injured with a mild concussion until April 1st. Luckily, that's about a week or so away, but still, you hate to see an injury to any of our top prospects here. Now, Ray Downey has been injured till April 6th, so basically everybody getting injured in the AHL squad. So we finished the season 22, 48, and 12. Thought there would be a bit more improvement off of last season, but apparently not. Because, yeah, this was a pretty atrocious year. We are, without a doubt, last in the NHL, and yes, indeed, we are. We have the best odds at the first overall pick. Doesn't mean we're getting it, obviously, but we can't fall down any further than the fourth. May as well check the final player stats for the season. Kapanen led our team in scoring with 51 points, minus 36. Faxa with 49, Hedel with 43. Be interesting to see how much he grows after the amount of ice time that he got this year. I mean, my goodness, that is a tremendous amount of ice time for any forward, really. I mean, because he goes straight from 15:48 to 23:18. That's insane. Burakovsky with 42 points, Kasha with 41, Simmons with 39, Palat with 36, Mata with 26, Forsbacher Carlson with 24, Zajac with 23, Bennett as well, Fleury with 23 points, Benning with 18, Manson with 14, Englund with 14, Mason with 11, Lawton with 10, Abdelkader with 8, And that is all for skaters. And in goal, you have Korpisalo with an 899 and an 891 for Saros. In the AHL, though, you have Montembeault, who unfortunately lost more games than he won as well. However, he did have a pretty good save percentage with a 917. And as we check on our rookies down here, we'll start with Vasyunov, 48 points. Gunler with 39. Downey with 36. And Sundstrom with 33. So pretty good rookie seasons for all four of those guys. Vasyunov's a 68, a 70 for Gunler. You have a 68 for Downey and a 65 for Sundstrom. I can't remember where they all started, but given their pretty good offensive seasons down here, they should see some decent growth over the offseason. Now, as we check defensemen, what about Anisimov? 50 points for Yuri Anisimov this year in the AHL. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. 67 overall. I believe he started the year as a 67. So hopefully he sees some pretty good growth over the offseason. And another thing, Anisimov also led rookies in scoring on our AHL team this year. So that is yet another good sign for Yuri Anisimov. Hopefully he continues to simulate well, and hopefully we'll see him in the NHL sooner rather than later. And now we're going to take a quick look at how the NHL is shaping up so far. Tyler Seguin with 103 points, Eichel with 102, as well as Pettersson. Crosby with 99 points, then you have Giroux with 96, Kuznetsov and Keller with 94, Kessel with 91, Ovechkin with 90, McDavid with 90, Marner with 90, Kane with 88, a bunch of point-per-game players, but only a few with 100 points or more. Let's see specifically defensemen. Pietrangelo led defenseman in scoring this year with 77 points, then Dahlin and Carlson followed soon after with 75. Doughty was 71, Riley was 67, 66 for Ghost and Ekman Larson. Carlson and McDonough was 64, Shattenkirk was 62, Theodore with 61, Weber with 59. And then in goal, you have Price with a 927 save percentage in 60 games. Hellebuck with a 925, a 919 for Koskinen, a 917 for Leonard, a 922 for Grice. I'm not sure why that's out of order there. Mrazek with a 917, Holtby with a 915, Jones with a 912, and Gibson with a 911. Lundqvist as well with a 911, but on the Senators instead of the Rangers, Fleury with a 910, Binnington with a 910. So a lot of goaltenders this year with solid save percentages, at least for this game. As we know, scoring has been increased dramatically in this game. And oh boy, look at this, guys. Raimo Louis, the franchise sniper, left winger in the draft. Similar style to Mario Lemieux. He's NHL ready. He takes winning seriously and has an incredible drive to win. I would love to be able to draft this guy. Obviously, we're going to have to win the draft lottery. But even if we don't get that guy, it looks like we still have some really good options available to us. Shane Wright, Stuart Goddard, Daniel Kunitz, the other Raimo Typalis. Then you also have Matthew Savoie at number 6. So no matter what, we're getting a good player out of this draft. It's just a matter of, are we going to be able to get that franchise winger or not? And the Detroit Red Wings have fired the head coach, Carter Bobilev. And the playoffs are complete, and the Stanley Cup champions are the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Calder Cup goes to San Antonio. All right, EA. We want Raimo. We want Raimo. We want Raimo. We fall back to 4. And Nashville gets the first overall pick. Columbus gets number 2. The Rangers move from 12 to 3. We fall back to number 4. So our options at number 4 are more than likely going to be between Shane Wright and Raimo Typalis. Both of these guys are like Patrick Kane. They're both NHL ready. Just a matter of, I guess, do you want a winger or a center? And in our case, we already have plenty of center prospects, so I think maybe Raimo Typalis might be the way to go. I mean, his physical category is a little bit lacking compared to Shane Wright. However, they're both fantastic players in their own respect. I mean, if we're sticking with the fact that we wanted a Raimo, we could take Raimo Typalis. The main differences between them are that Wright has the slightly better senses, Typalis is the slightly better skater, and Wright is better physically. So with that, I will end things off here. It's been quite the long episode already, and the draft is coming up, and we have to make a decision between Raimo Typalis and Shane Wright. So you guys let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we start the Year 3 draft. See you guys then.